Ever looked up at the night sky and felt a sudden urge to question, well, everything? Like, what's the point of this pale blue dot spinning in the vast cosmic expanse? Don't worry, you're not alone. Humans have been pondering these big existential questions since we first looked up and wondered what those twinkling things were. And that's what we're diving into today, the top 10 philosophical questions that make you think. From the meaning of life to the possibility of us being stuck in a giant cosmic simulation, which, let's be real, would explain a lot. We're tackling it all. So grab your thinking caps, get ready to ponder the universe, and maybe, just maybe, we'll come out of this a little bit wiser, or, at least thoroughly entertained. Either way, it's a win-win. What is the meaning of life? Is the question that's plagued philosophers and confused goldfish for centuries. Is it 42? Is it achieving ultimate happiness? Or is it just to eat, sleep, and repeat until we evolve into something slightly less confused? Some say the meaning is found in serving others, finding love, or making a difference in the world. Others say it's about experiencing all that life has to offer, from the profound to the utterly ridiculous. And then there's the existentialist perspective. Life has no inherent meaning. We create our own, which is both liberating and slightly terrifying, like being handed a blank canvas and a paintbrush after years of only coloring inside the lines. But hey, maybe the meaning of life is simply to enjoy the ride, to laugh at the absurdity of it all, to marvel at the wonders of the universe, and to never stop questioning. After all, in the grand cosmic scheme of things, we're just a bunch of highly evolved primates trying to figure things out. And that, my friends, is hilarious. Do we actually have free will, or are our lives just a pre-written script we're unknowingly acting out? It's a question that's been debated for ages, and frankly, it's enough to make your head spin faster than a neutron star. On one hand, we feel like we're making choices every day. Coffee or tea, left or right, skinny jeans, or, something a little more comfortable. But then there's the deterministic view, which argues that every event, including our choices, is predetermined by prior causes. It's like a cosmic domino effect, and we're just along for the ride. So, which is it? Are we masters of our own fate, or just puppets dancing on the strings of destiny? The truth is, we may never know for sure. But hey, whether our choices are truly free or not, let's at least pretend we have some say in the matter. It makes life a lot more interesting that way. What is the nature of reality? Is it what we see, hear, and touch, or is there something more going on beneath the surface? This is where things get really mind-bending, folks. Think about it. We experience the world through our senses, but our senses can be fooled. Optical illusions, hallucinations, that time you swore you saw your keys in your hand, but they were actually in the refrigerator. So how do we know what's real and what's not? Philosophers have been grappling with this question for centuries, and they've come up with some pretty wild theories. Some believe in a material world governed by physical laws. Others believe in a reality shaped by our minds, or even a simulation created by some advanced alien species. The truth is, we don't have a definitive answer. But one thing's for sure, reality is a lot stranger and more complex than we often give it credit for. Chapter 4, The Great Cosmic Debate. Is there a God? The age-old question, is there a God? It's a question that sparked countless debates, inspired awe-inspiring works of art, and fueled more than a few philosophical fistfights. On one side, we have arguments for God's existence based on faith, personal experience, and the intricate design of the universe. On the other side, we have arguments against God's existence based on the problem of evil, the lack of empirical evidence, and the sheer vastness of the cosmos. It's a complex issue with no easy answers. And honestly, if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that the universe is a pretty mysterious place. Whether you believe in a divine creator, the laws of physics, or something in between, it's hard to deny the sense of wonder and awe that comes from contemplating the great unknown. Chapter 5, Consciousness, the Mind's Inner Workings. What exactly is consciousness? It's that intangible something that allows us to experience the world, to think, to feel, to question the very nature of our existence. But how does it arise? What makes us conscious beings? Some believe consciousness is a product of the brain, a complex interplay of neurons firing that somehow gives rise to subjective experience. Others believe it's something more fundamental, a property of the universe itself. There's the idea that consciousness is an illusion, a trick our brains play on us to make sense of the world. And then there's the possibility that consciousness is something we haven't even begun to understand, a mystery that science has yet to unravel. It's a head-scratcher, no doubt, but one thing's for sure, consciousness is what makes us human. It's the source of our creativity, our empathy, our ability to ponder the big questions and appreciate a good cup of coffee. Chapter 6, can we be certain about anything? Can we know anything for certain, or is all knowledge ultimately uncertain, subject to revision, reinterpretation, and the occasional existential crisis? Skeptics would argue that true certainty is elusive. Our senses can deceive us, our memories are fallible, and even our most cherished beliefs can be challenged by new information. But does that mean we can't know anything at all? Not necessarily. We can still have justified beliefs based on evidence, reason, and careful observation. The key is to be open to new information, to question our assumptions, and to embrace the possibility that we might be wrong. After all, the pursuit of knowledge is a journey, not a destination, and who knows, maybe the only thing we can be truly certain of is our own uncertainty, which, when you think about it, is a pretty good place to start. Chapter 7. The Art of Living Well. What's the best way to live? Is it a life of pleasure and indulgence, a life of virtue and self-sacrifice, or something in between? Philosophers have proposed countless ethical theories over the centuries, each offering a different perspective on how we should live our lives. There's utilitarianism, which emphasizes maximizing happiness for the greatest number of people. There's deontology, which focuses on following moral rules and duties. And then there's virtue ethics, which emphasizes developing good character traits like honesty, compassion, and courage. Of course, figuring out the best way to live is a deeply personal journey. But maybe it's not about finding the one right answer. Maybe it's about striving to live a life that's meaningful to us, a life that aligns with our values, and a life that makes us proud to get out of bed in the morning, or at least, not immediately hit the snooze button. What is time? Is it a river flowing endlessly forward? An illusion created by our minds? Or just really, really bad at following directions? We experience time as a linear progression from past to present to future. But physicists have proposed that time might be more like a dimension, existing all at once, much like space. If that's the case, then maybe the past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously, and our perception of time is just a tiny slice of a much larger reality. It's a mind-boggling concept, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. After all, the universe is full of strange and wonderful things that defy our everyday understanding. So next time you're running late, just remember it might not be your fault. It could just be time playing tricks on you. Are we living in a simulation? It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie, but it's a question that some serious thinkers are taking seriously. The simulation hypothesis proposes that our reality could be a sophisticated computer program created by a more advanced civilization. Think of it like a hyper-realistic video game, complete with simulated consciousness. Now, it might sound far-fetched, but there are some intriguing arguments in its favor. For example, the rapid pace of technological advancement, the bizarre nature of quantum mechanics, and the fact that our universe seems suspiciously fine-tuned for life. Of course, there's no way to know for sure if we're living in a simulation, but it's a fun thought experiment, and it makes you appreciate the strangeness of existence a little bit more. Plus, if we are in a simulation, maybe we can find a way to hack it and give ourselves unlimited pizza. What is the self? Are we our bodies, our thoughts, our memories, or something else entirely? It's a question that's been pondered by philosophers and neuroscientists alike, and it's a real head-scratcher. Our bodies are constantly changing, our thoughts are fleeting, and our memories are notoriously unreliable. So what is it that ties it all together? What gives us a sense of continuity over time? Some believe the self is an illusion, a story we tell ourselves to make sense of our experiences. Others believe it's an emergent property of consciousness arising from the complex interplay of our brains and our environment. The truth is, the self is a mystery, a puzzle that we may never fully solve. But maybe that's okay. Maybe the journey of self-discovery is more important than the destination. From the meaning of life to the nature of reality, we've explored some of the biggest, most mind-bending questions humanity has ever asked. And while we may not have definitive answers, the very act of asking these questions is what makes us human. So keep pondering the universe, keep searching for meaning, and keep embracing the mystery of it all. And if you come up with any answers, be sure to share them in the comments below. After all, as the great philosopher, bard, and part-time astrophysicist, I made that last part up, William Shakespeare once wrote, "There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy."